Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Vintage Cube draft. Now, today, oh man. So, if I take Swift Spear, red's going to be open, even though it's probably always open. Swords to Plowshares is a pretty good pick, and a pretty good color in Vintage Cube. Expressive Iteration seems good. I kind of want to speculate on Urza's Saga, because if we see Soul Ring, Mana Vault, any of the broken 1-mana things, this card can be very good. If we don't see any of the broken mana, this card is awful and not really playable. But I'm going to try taking it. It's interesting when you get to see new high-power cards in the format, you know, what you can do with them. I think we take Volcanic Island and just stay open here. There's a couple of picks that I do like in this pack, like Hymn to Turok is, of course, very strong. Venser is a great blue card, but blue and red interact the most with the artifacts in the artifact deck, so I'm going to take this. It's also viable in Storm, it's viable in aggro, so we'll see. In this pack, there's a Sword of Fire and Ice, there's a Snapcaster Mage, there's an Emry, Lurker of the Loch. I think Emry is only good circumstantially, and you have to already have artifacts to take her, and I don't want to take a bunch of artifact payoffs and get no artifacts, so I think I'm going to play it safe and take Snappy here. Urza, Lord High Artificer. Seems good. There's Probe if we wanted to play Storm, or Incinerate, Bombat Courier if we wanted to play aggressive. Yeah, I think Urza's still the pick. I want to try and draft something interesting today rather than just like aggro nonsense. I think aggro is probably a much stronger deck. And like, if you want to maximize your win percentage in this format, draft white, because nobody ever plays white and it's always open. And it's also really powerful if you get things like Strip Mine Wasteland Thalia or Mox Thalia. But I feel like I do that often enough when I draft like all my fun police videos, and I mean historically it's been one of my favorite archetypes to draft, but okay, I'm definitely taking Chrome Mox here. Solemn Simulacrum, good old sad robot. Inkwell Leviathan being a tinker target, but I think you gotta take the Mox. Lotus Petal, I think I will take. With Urza, this kind of becomes a Mox Sapphire. It's also, between Lotus Petal and Chrome Mox, that's two different things that Urza Saga can go and get. I would not mind Chart a Course, but Repeal? Repeal I think is good. Basically any blue deck. It's pretty decent with Snapcaster Mage as well, so I'm going to take Repeal. Monastery Mentor is great when you have a bunch of 0-drop artifacts, and depending on what I get, I can actually just splash him. So, but like if you can resolve Mentor and then just like Chrome Mox, Repeal, Chrome Mox kind of a deal, it's pretty good. I'll take Swift Spear. We do have some fixing for it. We might be playing blue-red. So I could take Geist. I could take Unexpectedly Absent. Geist is going to be way easier to play. I'm not a huge fan of PN Kirin, even though it can turn artifacts into shocks. Unexpectedly Absent. Double white, I've got a feeling, is going to be very difficult, so I'm going to take Geist. There's a Needle Spires for fixing, but I'm not a huge fan of the tap land. If we can get like a Hollowed Fountain and a blue fetch, I think our fixing is going to be pretty good. I'm going to take the Sword. Bombat Courier is fine. Inkwell I'll take just in case we get Tinker. This will be an excellent Tinker deck. If we can open Mox Ruby, Sapphire, or Pearl, this deck becomes really, really good. Yeah, Thousand Year Storm in the sideboard. Selfless Spirit also in the sideboard. Okay, so Arid Mesa is perfect fixing for us. There's Zealous Conscript, Splinter Twin. I think I'm going to take the Signet. I would prefer drafting the Artifact Focus deck to the Aggressive deck or the Splinter Twin deck, so I'm going to take Signet. There's Tinker. That's awesome, actually. So, what does Court of Bounty do? Here's Battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. If you're the Monarch, you instead may put a creature or land card from your hand on the battlefield. That's pretty good. Not this deck, but that's a pretty good effect. We will be taking Tinker because Tinker is just the best effect for this deck. We're looking for Blightsteel Colossus now. I think I want to take Worn Power Stone. Skull Clamp Mentor is pretty decent. It's not amazing. There's definitely better things we could do. I think I'm just going to take the Power Stone. There's an Upheaval. I do like Upheaval. We have a few of the Signets and Artifact Mana. Plus, if we have Urza, we can just tap everything for mana, Upheaval, and then replay everything, and what is our opponent going to do? So I think we're going to take Upheaval. Like, if we can get half-on color Signets, and if they're not in the same pack as cards like Upheaval, like that Rakdos Signet was, I'll take them. Like, if I can get a Boros Signet and a Azorius Signet, Those would be great. So there's High Tide. There's also Wasteland, Lodestone Golem, Blast Zone. High Tide could be very, very good. The problem is I don't have Time Spiral, and we're not explicitly storming. But like High Tide into an Upheaval potentially like lets us replay even more things. Though that might just be win more. I can High Tide out an Inkwell, I guess, but that's not amazing. I kind of just want to take Wasteland, though I don't know that it fits in this deck. Yeah, I'm going to take Wasteland. Alright, a few good cards in this pack. We're probably not playing Bazaar. Wooded Foothills can get Volcanic Island. There's Glenalandra Archmage and Basalt Monolith. Glenalandra Archmage is one of the best blue cards in the format because it's effectively 2 1-mana negates that can also beat your opponent. Not sure if we're even playing red right now. We might be mono blue, so I may not need the fixing at all. I think I'm going to take Basalt Monolith here. Seachrome Coast is also probably not bad because it helps splash Monastery Mentor. I'm going to take the Monolith. I think I would rather have the Artifact ramp. Okay, Memory Jar, even being a temporary draw 7, is going to be good for us. It seems like all of the fetch lands are in this pack. Seagate Stormcaller is insane if you have Time Walk. Like, the card's just amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna take Memory Jar. There's Blightsteel and Ancient Tomb. So it's unfortunate that Ancient Tomb is in this pack, because Ancient Tomb is one of the best ways that you can just turn 2 Tinker. Or even, like, if I had Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb, Tinker, I could turn 1 Tinker, which is pretty insane, but I'm not going to pass Blightsteel Colossus because none of these are coming around. The pack's too thin. I could take Show and Tell. Show and Tell can put a Blightsteel Colossus into play, or a Gigantic Eldrazi. Arid Mesa fetch Volcanic Island, so nobody took the fixing. Flametongue Yearling is probably a little bit out of our mana capabilities. I think I'm going to take Baral, and the reason that I'm going to take Baral is because we're looking for 2-mana counterspells, and I'm kind of hoping they're all in pack 3 and nobody else is going to take them, which is a pretty big hope, but, you know, still possible. I don't think I'm playing a Sanctum Prelate or an Elite Spellbinder. If I'm playing red and white, maybe Inspiring Vantage is good. There's no guarantee of that, though. My secondary color, if I have one right now, I have the fixing for red, but I would rather play white because I have Monastery Mentor and Geist. So I think I would take an Elspeth. Mind's Desire off of a huge Upheaval could be good, helping me cast like my gigantic stuff. Manamorphose, we do have some red fixing that's relatively free in the form of Visit Signet and Lotus Petal and Volcanic, but no other Storm cards. I'll take Mind's Desire. I don't think it's going to be good. I'll put an Empty the Warrens in the sideboard because this is not a Hero Bladehold deck. Skyclave Apparition in the sideboard, and we get a Seagate Stormcaller. So Time Walk, pack 3, please. Not a Time Walk, but it is a Mox, and it's one of the colors that I said we would hope to open up. A little sad to pass Jitte. This is a pretty good pack. A lot of broken stuff in this pack, but none of it more broken than the Mox. So, taking the Mox. This could be a Mind Twist deck. We do have a bunch of relatively fast mana. We just don't have any fixing for black. This is one of the best fast mana payoffs. We did get pretty wrecked by it not that long ago. Smokestack will probably come around. A lot of people pick Fractured Identity very highly, so I don't think it will. Shelldock Isle, also not bad. Another great way to cast Blightsteel, but I'm going to take Mind Twist, and I'm going to keep my eyes out for a black mana fixing land or something that might help. I think we take Cryptic. I could also take Sundering Titan. Sundering Titan, very good. Pretty decent Tinker target. Doesn't kill your opponent one shot. It's a lot more fragile, but I don't think we need to be any more proactive than we are. I think I would rather have things like Cryptic or Mana Leak to help protect what's going on. Sensei's Top would be great. Workshop, I guess, isn't bad because we do have a number of good mana rocks, but Workshop tends to go pretty late, so we're taking something else out of that pack first. Ancestral Visions is pretty good. Is there anything that is actually red that I'm playing? Not that I currently have, because I'm probably not playing Swiftspear. Ancestral Visions is probably the card I should take, but I'm going to take Misty because if there's a red card coming up that I want, Misty helps me play it, and if there is a off-color fetch or something that helps me splash Mind Twist, Misty can help me play it. So I'm going to take that as kind of a speculative pick. Frost Titan can just win games if you ramp into him, and this is a ramp deck that is blue, so I'm going to take Frost Titan. We have nothing that's green that we want to play, so no Breeding Pool is necessary. Okay, I do like Daze. Lotus Bloom would be nice. Lotus Bloom might come around. Young Pyro, we don't really have enough instants and sorceries to make it work. I think we just take Daze. Ponder. Ponder is good. Yeah, we're taking Ponder. Ponder can just help us get through our deck faster. It's really good with Mentor as well. So I've got a Misty Rainforest that does not help with Godless Shrine. There's a Forge Master, which is a redundant Tinker. There's also a Fast Bond. Fast Bond I could technically splash off Misty, but we have no draw 7s. So I don't think we take it. I think Forge Master is the pick here. We have a lot of artifact mana. So Winter Orb is actually pretty good in this deck. Balance would be 2. I think Winter Orb is better, because if we can, like, stick a Mentor in a Winter Orb, like, what is our opponent even going to do? Not playing Archon. I could play Smokestack. Smokestack and Mentor is a combo. Smokestack and a bunch of fast mana artifacts is also a combo. Control Magic is really good, though. I think I'm going to take Smokestack. We're going to have some fun. Mentor top is definitely a combo. Wear and Tear would be fine, but we're going to take top. I don't think we're playing anything in this pack. So I guess I put a Ritual in the sideboard. We could technically play a Revelark, I guess. Though I wouldn't want to. So we're not playing Swift Spear. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is technically another Tinker target and is very good versus aggressive decks. And Oblivion Ring we can actually play as removal. So we're actually playing a blue-white deck with no fixing. I do have Ponder and Top, but no Brainstorm. It's kind of questionable if I should be playing Misty. We have no red cards in the deck. We have stuff that produces red, but no red. So I think what we're going to do is... Can I actually splash Mind Twist off of Lotus Petal? I did not take Rakdos Signet, and if I did, it would be way better. I think I have to. So if I play one Swamp, I can Lotus Petal for black, I can Chrome Mox pitching Sphinx for black, or I can play a Swamp. Or a couple of Swamps. So I think if we reduce heavy color requirements that aren't blue, we might actually be able to play everything in our deck just fine. A lot of our cards are colorless, and a lot of our other cards are single blue or single white. We're not playing Elspeth. Cryptic and Urza, I think, stay in the deck regardless. Mox Ruby is just a land. Lotus Petal and Chrome Mox are each like half lands. So let me see what we're actually dealing with here. I don't think this is a Geist deck. Seagate Stormcaller synergizes with exactly nothing. Baral helps us play like Daze. Technically Tinker, but not by much. Snapcaster hits Ponder, Daze. We can Snapcaster Tinker. I do like Cryptic. I think Mind's Desire is a little ambitious. We also have Repeal. This is not a Bombat Courier deck at all. And looking at my entire deck, the worst card in all of it is probably Sword of Fire and Ice. Because while we do have a few creatures and stuff that can wield it, I actually think it's not going to help us unless our opponent is blue and red, like exclusively. I think Oblivion Ring is better in the 3-drop slot just for this deck. I wish we had a little more artifact ramp, but it's not like we don't have artifact ramp. So go ahead and add our stuff. This wants me to play 2 plains and 1 swamp. So that gives me 1, 2, and like 2 1/4 black sources. And then we have maybe 2 1/2 white sources. I think I'm going to play 1 more swamp and 1 more plains. Because the only heavy blue requirement we have is double blue, and that should not be that difficult for us to get to. We have a Signet that can tap for blue. We have a Chrome Mox that we can pitch a blue card we're not going to play to. And then, I guess let's just pray for Tinker Blightsteel every game, right? Alright, I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, we're on the play. We have a Winter Orb. It's not that useful. I think we got a mulligan. We have much better and much faster hands. I actually think this hand is okay. A single land, it doesn't do a whole lot, but we're putting Blightsteel on the bottom of our deck. There's a lot of good top decks for this hand, though. Any of our cheap mana accelerators or land can get us to this Warren Power Stone, and I just F6 through my first turn because I thought I was on the draw after initially saying I was on the play! Put a Blazicytheon. Alright. my only defense is to feign ignorance. Opponent hits us for 2. No! Okay, we actually can't beat Thalia. Just period. It's game over. Our opponent only knows one thing about our deck, and that is Island. The good old skip your first turn, play Island, concede combo deck. Popularized in 2021 by Kano. Oh my god. Alright. I would love to play first. You know what the worst part is? I'm going to keep like a hand that has a ridiculous like Tinker setup or something, and I'm going to lose because my opponent's going to have Swords to Plowshares. You know it's going to happen. So I'm keeping this because hopefully we can get a fast Mind Twist. We need to draw a colored spell so that Chrome Mox actually taps for mana, but it shouldn't be that difficult. I'm going to need more coffee. Alright, we are going to lead on Island again. We're playing Urza Saga as our second land. Then we'll play Swamp. Opponent leads on Plains. Mox Pearl, is this Thalia? Lotus Petal. Gideon Blackblade. Okay. We draw an Island. Play Urza Saga. So, in Constructed, obviously, best Mox is Blue Mox. Probably followed by, like, maybe Black or Red, depending. But in Limited, if you're playing the white deck with the white Mox, or the red deck with the red Mox, or either of those decks with an off-color Mox, that is your best bet at winning the game for, like, basically any reason, because those decks do not get access to that type of mana normally, and so, like, accelerating their whole game plan by a turn is incredibly powerful. Why is it playing the, like, ability activate sound when I right-click Gideon? That bothers me. Hope it bothers you, too. Anyway, put a place Kytheon. Oh, Chad Tribal. Well, if I draw a colored spell, I can Wits End my opponent. Unless they have Mana Tithe. They hit us for 4. I probably should worry about making tokens. We get a Lotus Petal. Urza Saga triggers. So, play a Swamp. Play a Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. Is it worth trying to get rid of their hand? They have 2 threats on board. I think I would rather start making guys. Because, like, the Mind Twist play there is pretty good, but the problem is, if they did have Mana Tithe, we were basically done. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent hits us for 6. Okay, on their end step, make a construct. Untap. Make a construct. Draw a Smokestack. So let's go get Mox Ruby. So we're mana neutral on that. I can get rid of Mind Twist to play Smokestack this turn. That makes... No, that doesn't make the construct big enough because we would have to get rid of Lotus Petal for that. So let's play an Island. I think we are going to Chrome Mox this Mind Twist away. And I do wish I had 1 more mana, but go to combat. Attack Chad. Chad goes to 1. Play Smokestack. See if they've got the Mana Tithe. They friggin' had it. Well, pass the turn. I'm so glad I didn't go for the Mind Twist play. Us not resolving Smokestack still might lose us the game, but I'm really glad I did not go for the Mind Twist play, because if I had, we were screwed. Alright, opponent plays Honor of the Pure. Forgets to uptick Gideon pre-combat. We go to 5. Now they uptick. They give little Chad indestructible. We draw a Wasteland, which is nice. Play a Plains. Pre-combat, play Memory Jar. Go to combat. Kill Gideon. Because I don't think they have anything that would have haste. I definitely don't think they would have anything that would have haste and kill us. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat, attacks us for 3. We take 3 and go to 2. Untap. We draw. Ponder. Play Wasteland. I'm not going to play Ponder. I'm actually just going to sack Memory Jar here. And the reason being is because we have a lot of stuff that costs double blue, and I just played a land. So, let's draw 7 cards. Alright, yep, that makes sense. So, I can play Basalt Monolith and play Frost Titan. And I think that's probably our best use of mana. If I tap... Yeah, okay, so I play Basalt Monolith. I have 7 mana. I can use 2 of it to make 2... Well, I have 5 left over, and then I can make 6. So, okay, play Izzet Signet. Play Frost Titan. Tap Kythian, because while I could tap a land here, if I do, and my opponent has like a path or a sword. Actually, no, because Frost Titan has frost armor. I was gonna say, I still think this is safer. Hit our opponent for 12, take them to 8. They discard their hand, we discard ours. They're playing Paladin class. Okay. Opponent flashes in Containment Priest. That is dangerous. If they have land, path, or... Yeah, it has to be land path, because land swords gains us life. Alright. And we get a game 3. No thanks to us. I'm not going to make any adjustments. I'm just going to run it back and pray. We've got a Daze, we've got a Ponder, and we have a Worn Power Stone. I actually think this hand is pretty decent. The only thing that really beats this hand immediately is Land Mox Thalia. And as long as my opponent doesn't have that, I think this hand is fine. Land. Mox. Okay, Seasoned Hollowblade. Seasoned Hollowblade is tough to beat, but not impossible. So play an Island, play a Ponder. We do want that Tinker. So put back Inkwell, put back Repeal, put back Tinker. Do not shuffle. Pass the turn. We have Daze only if we really need it. Otherwise, we want to be making our land drops here. Opponent goes to combat, hits us for 3. We take 3, go to 17. Opponent plays Kytheon. We untap. We draw a Repeal, so play an Island. Pass the turn. We now have Repeal for 1 on Kytheon. We have Hardcast Daze. If we need it, opponent plays a Plains, goes to combat, attacks for 5. We take 5 and go to 12. So Containment Priest is somewhat of a concern, but I don't think there's anything we can do about that. Monastery Mentor is pretty good. So we're going to Daze Monastery Mentor, untap. We draw Inkwell, but we knew that was on top of our deck. I'm going to save Oblivion Ring, and we're going to play Worn Power Stone. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, and next turn we can play Tinker and Oblivion Ring, barring something awful happening. Faith's Fetters. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So that did nothing. They hit us for 5. We untap. We draw Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Let's go ahead and Tinker. I guess we just go for Blightsteel Colossus, because that's really our only Tinker target left. And then let's Oblivion Ring Seasoned Hollowblade. Game's over. They didn't even wait to see if they drew Path or Swords. So that's the trick. You mulligan into an unplayable hand that gets beaten by everything. You concede to lure your opponent into a false sense of security, and then you just beat them. Simple as that. I'll see you guys in round 2. Alrighty, welcome back to round 2, everybody. I would like to play first. Yeah, this isn't bad. This is a potentially turn 2 Basalt Monolith, turn 3 Urza. We need to draw, I think, a blue card, but any colored spell off of Ponder would be good. I'm going to keep this. If we can get a Tinker, it's going to be great. So lead on Island and Ponder. Any order, we are going to shuffle. All right, we get an Island. We can also just play Chrome Mox as a Mox Sapphire if we can land Urza, which might be difficult because our opponent is playing blue. They preordain. Okay, we untap. We draw a Swamp. Well, play a Swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an Island. Then pass. We draw Inkwell. So play an Island. Play Basalt Monolith. Pass the turn. No counter from the opponent. Okay. Opponent untaps. They play Island number 3. We draw Snapcaster Mage. I actually really like Snapcaster Ponder. Top Mind Twist Oblivion Ring. Alright. We will not shuffle. I do want to draw Mind Twist. Pass the turn. Next turn we can fire off a big Mind Twist. Hopefully our opponent like taps out for something. Like if they don't have Force and they play like a Jace, they could be in real trouble. Opponent Mystical Tutors. If they get Time Walk, they got a really good deck. If they get Ancestral Recall, they got a really good deck. Turnabout. Okay, they're probably Storm. If they're Storm, that means there's a good chance they do have counter spells, but if we Mind Twist them, there's a really good chance they lose the game on the spot. So they could be comboing off for lethal here. If I had known my opponent was Storm, there is some consideration to maybe having Mind Twisted them that turn. Okay, so they turn about themselves, untap their lands, Manamorphose. They must be holding Brain Freeze because, or like a really good draw 7. Because this seems like a really early Storm off. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, Wheel of Fortune's pretty good. 6 mana. That's either a time spiral or like a 1,000-year storm. Could be a Mind's Desire. It could also be an Upheaval, but Upheaval would be bad for our opponent. Treachery. Sometimes you just gotta mind control as a ritual. That's pretty good. 8 mana. Opponent is playing Counterspell. Actual factual Counterspell. They play Narset, Parter of Veils. Now if they have a Time Twister or another Wheel of Fortune effect, we are in trouble. Oh no. That's pretty good. They could still like combo and kill us, right? But we're really gonna have to rely on Daze and Mind Twist to get us there. Potentially like a turn 1 Tinker for Blightsteel too. Opponent has a very good Storm deck, but in addition to that, they've also had very good draws and pretty good planning for their Storm turn. So, in terms of like deck power level, Storm I think has the highest ceiling because like you can actually just beat your opponent on like turn 0 if you have all of the right cards. It is incredibly unlikely that that happens because... Okay, there's a Brain Freeze. I do not want my opponent to know what is in my deck, so I'm going to go ahead and concede. We are very dead with no chance of doing anything about it. I could play Sword of Fire and Ice, but honestly, it's too slow. We know how we're going to win, if we're going to win, so we'll just try and make that work. Alright, we'll play first. We got a Winter Orb and an Urza Saga. We can get Chrome Mox, and we can play out Memory Jar. I think I'm honestly willing to keep this off of the strength of Memory Jar more than anything else. But I am going to play out Winter Orb right away because I don't want my opponent casting preparatory spells like mana. I don't want them playing like Narset before they combo off or cast a draw 7. I don't want them playing Mana Flare before they do anything else, that sort of thing. So... play Urza's Saga, give it its ability. Play Mox Ruby. Play Winter Orb. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays an island. We untap, we draw Urza. So Urza's Saga gains its ability. Play an island. Play a Lotus Petal. Now I could play Urza, but I think I'm better off just making a construct here. Opponent plays an island. Pass to their end step. Make a construct. Untap. Here. See what we draw. Oblivion Ring. Do I want to sack Lotus Petal? I think I do. So, activate here. Make another construct. Sack Urza's Saga. Get Chrome Mox. Because that helps us play through Winter Orb. Exile Oblivion Ring. Go to combat. Start beating down our opponent. We do need to draw another island to play Urza. I think Urza Winter Orb is a combo. I'm actually not sure. I haven't played with Winter Orb enough to know how it interacts if it's tapped on my opponent's end step. Okay, we draw an island. Go to combat. I could do 2 more damage by playing out Urza, but I'm going to wait till second main. Play Urza. Okay, make a construct. Pass the turn. We have 3 separate lethal threats. So, like, my opponent needs a really good High Tide turn, and they didn't have it. All right. So we just have to hope that we have another great, like, Mox Ruby hand, basically. We either need to, like, power out Mind Twist, or we need to do that again. It kind of sucks knowing, like, those are your only 2 ways of interacting with your opponent's strategy, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and I think this counts. We will keep. Obviously, Mox off the top would be the best draw, but... Opponent leads on Shelldock Isle. I would not mind a Wasteland, actually. If we could draw Wasteland, if we could draw Mox, either Mox, Chrome Mox, or Mox Ruby. They are deep in the tank on this Hideaway. Okay, come on, Wasteland. Alright, Winter Orb. Lead on an island, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. We draw Island. So, play Plains. We are going to play Winter Orb, because we want to draw counter spells off of our opponent if they've got it. We want to disrupt their setup if possible. Okay, opponent plays Narset, which means they're setting up for a draw 7. They downtick and reveal counterspell. We untap Plains. Draw Lotus Petal. So I can Mind Twist them for 2, or I can play Worn Power Stone this turn. I think I'm going to try and play Worn Power Stone. Hopefully my opponent can't... hopefully my opponent can't cast a draw 7 next turn. I could have played Mentor and maybe that was better, but we know they have Counterspell. If they just leave up 2 mana, they'll have Counterspell, but... Alright, we untap. They get Lotus Petal. Untap the Plains, because we're going to be playing the Mentor this turn like 100%. Play the Island. Play Mentor. We're hoping they Counterspell this. Okay, cast a Chromox. We're going to get no value off of it, because we're not going to pitch anything. Get a Monk. Pass the turn. So Mind Twist is going to run into Counterspell. Unless, of course, my opponent Wheel of Fortunes. If my opponent Wheel of Fortunes, there's nothing we can do, but... obviously, draw 7s are... Unless my opponent is comboing off for victory, draw 7s are a lot worse if we kill Narset, of course. Opponent plays Mox Jet. 5 mana. This is a Treachery? Oh god, okay. I'm just dying to my own Mentor then. Yeah. So, I kind of forgot they had Treachery, but also I don't think I made the incorrect decision. I think my opponent just had the answer. Yep. Like, if they really want to go for Rubbins, they can cast a spell and then counterspell their own spell. But that's going pretty deep. Okay, here's the Time Spiral. Yep. The worst part about this is... Well, first off, my opponent forgot to untap their lands. Nope, never mind. Apparently, it happens... Oh, it exiles as part of the resolution? That's a very weird... Usually they put that text at the end. Alright, well, we're just very dead. We don't have any board wipes, any way to deal with this. Alright, yep. It's long over. That is unfortunate, but I suppose that's our penance for what happened in round 1. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, round 3. This hand has no lands, no moxes. This is almost keepable, but not quite. I think we got a mulligan. Alright, yeah, I can keep this. We're definitely keeping a Tinker Lotus Petal hand. I think we're going to get rid of Monastery Mentor and Plains? Yeah, okay. Opponent starts Blood Crypt tapped. New plan. That's what you get for starting on a non-basic land. Oh no, a blue land. Alright. Island, Lotus Petal, is it Signet? Pass the turn. Player's a Saga. Yeah, I guess I am going for the Tinker. I should have just waited and sacked Lotus Petal, but... Yep, this is fine. I should not have Lotus Petaled out as a Signet. That was loose. Land? Alright, we got a land. Pass the turn. Draw an island. Top might actually be better than Mox here, because we can manipulate our top decks. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Opponent goes to 17. We pass. Opponent untaps. They play an Underground Sea. They got something big and scary. By big and scary, I mean a Muldrifter. Let's go ahead and top. Oh no. I don't want... I guess maybe I do want Daze. It's unlikely to get any value, but... Draw Daze. Go to combat. Attack for 6. Opponent takes 6, goes to 11. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land, goes to combat. Does not attack. We untap. Draw land. Play a land. Go to combat. Attack for 6. Opponent blocks. They go to 8. We pass. They're going to Corpse Dance with buyback. Playing around Daze. Spin the top. Island, Smokestack. I kind of want to draw Mind Twist. They get to draw 2 more cards. And they get to keep Muldrifter around for their turn. There's not that many 7 drops in black and blue, or 6 drops even. They're going to hymn our Daze. Daze them. They Demonic Tutor. I should have put the cards back Mind Twist, Land, Smokestack, because then I could tap top to draw a land for Mind Twist. Opponent Demonic Tutors, and now they are Entombing, so they're setting up for Reanimate. Archon of Cruelty, Chromox. Oh, if that was all they had, maybe we could have dealt with that. Because we could have untapped and Mind Twisted them. Yeah, we cannot beat an Archon. Not with any combination of cards on the top of our deck now. So opponent's got a very good Reanimator deck with a lot of good interaction. They have Mind Twist, Hymn to Turok, and 2 mana counterspells. Alright, we're going to run it back. Playing first. I mean, we got a Daze, we got a top. I guess I'm going to keep this. So play an Island, play a Lotus Petal, play Divining Top, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Swamp, pass the turn. We untap, draw Tinker. So I could cast Tinker on top with Daze backup. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Get Blightsteel. And now we have Daze to protect it. So if my opponent were to be playing, like, Diabolic Edict, or the Liliana Edict that I think is still in Vintage, opponent's Vampiric Tutoring. If they have Entomb Reanimate for Archon, we can Daze Reanimate. So opponent untaps. They play an island. They chart a course. That's fine. I think if they do have the ridiculous Reanimate chain, then we need to still save Daze. Okay. Yeah, run it back and hope we do that again. Just like turn 1, Island, Chrome Mox, Mox, Ruby, Tinker. Let's go. This is not a good hand. No islands, Blightsteel in our opener, so it's basically a mulligan to 6. This is another Urza's Saga hand, which is not bad. We cannot Chrome Mox Sphinx of the Steel Wind, so we'd either have to Chrome Mox Repeal or Frost Titan, and I think we'd be Chrome Moxing Repeal, which means I think I'm putting back Sphinx. Alright. This is going to be a very top deck reliant hand. Opponent leads on Swamp. We draw Lotus Petal. I don't think that changes anything yet. So lead on Urza's Saga. Have it gain its ability. Play Lotus Petal. Play Chrome Mox. Chrome Mox Repeal. I could cast Basalt Monolith, but I feel like that's a mistake. I guess if I get him to Turok, it wouldn't be, but opponent plays an island. Passes. We untap. We draw Upheaval. So Urza's Saga gains its ability, which for some reason said it belonged to Electric Bob, which is my opponent. Play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent cycles Miscalc. They untap. They play a Swamp. Demonic Tutor. Man, if our deck had like a Soul Ring, or if you just have Urza's Saga and Soul Ring, like, can't even imagine how busted that would be. Now, if I don't tap Urza's Saga until my main phase, I can tap it for mana, go up to 5, get a Mox, and if I draw a land, I can play Frost Titan or Upheaval. Or I can just cast Basalt Monolith and then play one of those next turn. I think I'm actually going to do that. Okay, we draw a top, go to main, float mana, get Mox, play Basalt Monolith, play top, go to combat, attack for 6. Opponent entombs, so they're going to get Archon, they're going to get Reanimate, or Animate Dead, which means when they play it, we're going to discard Upheaval, even though I think Upheaval might be better. Oh, they're playing Corpse Dance. Okay. Yeah, we're going to discard Upheaval because we want to play Frost Titan next turn. Oh, shoot, it has haste. Draw a card with top. We're going to discard whatever we draw, like 100%. Opponent hits us for 6. We go to 8. They play a Putrid Imp. Then they exile Archon of Cruelty, so they can't get it back. We untap. We draw top. Play Frost Titan, playing around Daze. Tap their blue mana, I guess. Play top. Pass the turn. You gotta get us there, Frosty T. And you are not gonna get us there, are you? Angrass Rampage is a pretty good answer to Frost Titan. Opponent attacks us for 1. Stop on our upkeep, spin the wheel. It's a Mind Twist and a Daze. Put back Daze, put back Mind Twist, put back Island. Draw Island, play Island. Pass the turn. I don't have black mana for Mind Twist, which is a problem. We are going to untap Basalt Monolith this turn. Opponent attacks us for 1. Ditching Inquisition. Okay, so they did that to get Threshold, to shorten the clock, which makes Mind Twist a lot less important. Yeah, we're still definitely untapping this. Untap. Spin the wheel. Urza. There we go. Okay, put back Daze, put back Mind Twist. Actually, hang on. Can I undo? I cannot undo. I needed to put Daze under Urza so I could draw it in case my opponent had a Sublime Epiphany. I don't know, 6-mana counterspell. Either way, we draw Urza, play Urza, Mana Drain, spin the top, Blightsteel. None of these cards are good. God, we're at 7 mana. We're dead in 3 turns. We have no interaction on board. That's just game. The fact that my opponent's last card was Mana Drain. Yeah, I technically misplayed by not putting Daze immediately underneath Urza, but it's not like my opponent was going to have a 6-mana counterspell. They were going to have a 2-mana spell. But that's okay. I misplayed a lot this league. That's a little disappointing. I don't think my deck was particularly good. I think my opponent's decks were frequently way better than mine, despite the fact we had Urza, despite the fact we had power. But mostly I drafted to have fun this time around. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something about how Vintage Cube works a little bit. The best way to learn if you're interested in Vintage Cube, by the way, is to just watch people play. So if you like my style of content for Vintage Cube, I highly recommend if you're looking for more Vintage Cube, Caleb Gannon is where I learned to play Vintage Cube. He plays a ton. He's super good at it. He's got a great community. So if you like my content for Vintage Cube and you want to see more of it, I highly recommend you go check him out because he's way better than me. It's just like, let's advertise for him because he taught me how to play it, basically, by me watching him. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. You're all wonderful human beings. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of July. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate your support. And if you want to have your guys' names show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon in the description down below. Thank you all so much.